And we're live. Hello,
Hello.
everyone. Hello, everyone in America, and wherever you are watching in the United Kingdom. As you've noticed, my good friend Jacqueline's not here. She's taking a holiday. That's just not allowed. I think
Uh,
she should be sacked.
something.
Tonight, I've got the wonderful, the beautiful, the amazing Jen. Jen
Yay.
is the owner of Emerald Island Paranormal Researchers and founder of Shadow Whispers in the Night podcast. And she tried to get my tongue round
I know.
that.
It's a
So
mouthful when
how are
I'm
you,
good.
Jenny?
I'm good. I'm good. Finally sitting down. Oh Lord, it's been a long day, but a productive day. I can sit.
I bet you're like that. Oh my god, thank God.
I am. I got most of my work done. Outside, all my work done. It's probably outside is cleaner than my inside house because I've been throwing everything from outside inside. So yeah, we'll do that one tomorrow or during the week.
I
We'll get it.
know Mondays are always boring. Like Mondays are always like the one where, you know, it's just Monday blues. No one's like,
I was
Mondays, I hate
actually
Mondays.
on the ball today. I was up at 5 in the morning. I walked my dogs. I think it was a 7K or an 8K walk at 6 o'clock this morning. Don't know what got into me. That probably will not happen again. Um,
Wow, you are keen.
oh, I did the whole lot. I did the whole shebang. Grass cut, power hose, everything done. And now I'm ready to
So,
go.
who we got so far? Hello, Greg. Welcome.
Hi,
We've
Greg.
got we've got Tracy. Hiya,
Hi,
Tracy.
Tracy. Hi,
We've
Tracy.
got Sherry, and we have Samantha.
Hi,
Welcome.
Samantha.
Hello, everyone. So, Jenny,
Yes.
I get to spy you with the questions.
Oh,
You're on the
Lord.
other side of the seat tonight.
Be nice to me. Be nice to me.
I'm always nice, my lovely. You do you want to start by telling everybody who you are and how you got into the paranormal?
Absolutely. Well, I am Jenny Sullivan Sanyasi from Drogheda in Ireland. Um, Gosh, started off in the paranormal when I was, well, obviously when, like most people, when I was younger, I was that, come from a family of 11, and I was always that different child, if I can say that. And I always thought outside of the box. And I was that quiet child, so thought a lot, saw a little bit, heard a little bit, enough to intrigue my interest. Frightened me for sure. But then as I got older, it wasn't until my late 20s that I get into the paranormal. And I started off with a team. I was with them for about 6 or 7 years, and it was phenomenal. It just, like, the first night we did an investigation, you could hear my breath shaking. I was petrified, petrified. And it was in a place up in the north of Ireland, Shane's Castle in the north of Ireland. We did that
Wow.
location every month for like 6 or 7 years. And, I don't know if anyone's ever watched Games of Throne. And
Oh,
I've,
I've
they,
I, I've never, but I've heard a lot about Games of Thrones.
I've never watched it, but they did film in there, and they did, they had some of the artifacts on stage and
That's
left
right.
behind. And then what else? What else? So yeah, so I did that for about 6 or 7 years, and then the team had separated. That's my computer going off there. Sorry. And so the team had broken up. Then things had changed, and people had gone to their own ways. And I was still into the paranormal, so then I created my own team, Emerald Isle Paranormal Researchers, and that's
I
going on.
absolutely love that name.
It's Emerald Isle. Yeah, I know. One of the friends had came up with it as well, and we all had came up with it together, and then we stuck with it, and that's going on now, coming up to 6 years.
Wow, long time, Jenny, to be doing it.
I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm
You
bloody tired.
you still look wonderful. It must be the
Thank-
Irish water over there.
It's the Irish whiskey and the Guinness that keeps me going.
Wow. So we have Greg, who's the
Irish
AKA
whiskey.
Irish whiskey.
Yes.
We've got
Hey, Sherry.
Sherry. We've got Wild Bill.
Hi, Wild Bill.
Oh, God. See, this is the thing about the comments. The comments go flying
They
everywhere.
do.
Hi, Patrick.
Patrick, love the name. Oh,
Hi,
hi.
Sam. Oh, from Thailand. I absolutely
Nice.
would love to go to Thailand. Hi, Bet.
Hi, Red. Oh,
Hello,
Oh,
Chantel.
there's Chantel. We love Chantel.
Robbie.
Hi,
Um,
Robbie. There's lots.
so
Oh,
your
Rob.
your first question comes from Samantha. What's the worst paranormal experience you've gone through?
Immediately, the first thing that comes to my mind is Shane's Castle. That's up in the north of Ireland, and we were doing a reenactment in the tunnels. And the founder said, "Right, put him on the chair. Put a hat. Put a blindfold on him. Put a rope around his neck. Tie his hands behind the chair because the people in the tunnels did not like him." And so he said to me, "Jenny, you're calling out. You're provoking." And I said, "Not really. I don't really want to do it," but I ended up doing it. So me, being me, got into the role of telling these male soldiers to do what I want them to do. Being a female, and I'm demanding them to do something. Pull the rope. Here's the guy that you want. Here's the rope. Pull it. You want him. There you go. And I was provoking, and I was telling them demanding them to do it.
Yep.
And so things happened a little bit. There was a camcorder going on and so on. And that was the end of it. Things happened and then that was done. We went up for a coffee. The night went on as usual. The end of the night, we were taking my group to one side and the founder took his group to another side. I was bringing my group back to the place where we had done the reenactment, to the tunnels. Now, the tunnels is underneath the ground so much that there's graves above us. When we walked in, there was this mist. It's under the ground. There's a lock beside us. You have to kind of debunk the mist and so on. We couldn't. It was just crazy. But when you walked in, the smell of sulfur could have knocked you out.
Oh,
It was
wow.
probably the strongest smell of sulfur I have ever smelled. It burned the top of my throat. It burned your nose. It was just awful.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
laughing at Chantel. Jenny is a bossy leprechaun.
No, I wasn't going to mention any leprechauns,
Oh,
but hey, somebody's broke
I
it.
am a bossy leprechaun. I really am a bossy leprechaun. And so one of the ladies I was with said, "We can't continue on with this. We have to leave." And I'm like, "No, we know they're here. They know we're here. We're going to go down to the place where we had done the reenactment. We're going to go down there and start calling out. We know they're here. They know we're here," and so on. And walking down towards, and I had guest public with us. And then I kind of, something changed my mind and I said, "Right, we won't do it. Let's go back out. Let's leave the tunnels." As we turned around to walk back out, I said, "I don't know why we're leaving if they know we're here." So something happened then. It was like the Matrix. It was the most craziest thing. It was if something ran up towards me, stopped in front of me, or ran through me.
Oh,
And
wow.
my head felt like I could hear nothing and see nothing. So my head went back a little bit like slow motion and came forward again, like the Matrix, very slow motion. And I had lost senses of everything. And I said to my friend, and I said, get me out quickly, get me out." And I would never say something like that. But then I said to myself, I'm beginning to panic a little bit, bring it down. And then we had left, but it was longer than that. It was just um, extremely frightening. And it made me respect the paranormal even more. It made me kind of like, well, geez, we've heard audio, we've had touches, but this was like, these were pissed off with me,
Oh,
and it was going through me. And that was my most frightening experience ever. And I've never forgotten it. And that's gone back many, many
wow.
years. Yeah,
Was that your first paranormal experience, or was that just the first scary one
that
that
was
you
my
had?
first scary one. My first scary
Oh,
one.
that
Yeah,
must
that
have
made
been
me kind of
scary.
stop. It did. It made me stop at my tracks, and um, I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go back to the location, but I
Oh,
had to go
wow.
back. But when I went back in, let me tell you, I was nice, polite, saying, "Hi, just me here again. Sorry about the last time. Hope we can be okay." And because I don't provoke. I don't provoke ever. Do I provoke? It was that night that I said, the founder said, "Jen, you're going to provoke,"
Oh, wow.
and I was
With
given that lead, and I did.
Robbie, I'm not keen on Lennox Castle. Lou knows why. We went to Lennox Castle. It's a really good one if you're ever in Scotland, Jenny. Greg says, I've been studying and experiencing the paranormal for over
Awesome.
40 years. Yous
That's
are
so
all
awesome.
so long at it. Yes, you've been a long time.
I like that.
A very evil
Yeah, he
spirit, no
was.
less.
Yeah, the location is, you can have good and you can have malevolent in it.
Yeah.
It was that 50-50 in it. I know there was soldiers in it. It's from a man-made lock. There was soldiers in it, French, Spanish, and British. And it was, there was horses there, animals there. It was just, for your first time starting off in the paranormal, this was not walking in. This was running into the paranormal, because this place
Yeah.
is such a mixture of, there was not a lot of niceness in it, but you found it if you looked for it. A lot of malevolent and very frightening experiences there. Yeah. But there was nice things there too.
We'll say quick hellos to
Hi,
Lauren,
Lauren.
Louisa. Tracy's saying, you won't get Jenny being so nice now.
I'm always nice sometimes.
Hi, Chris. So,
Mm.
have you got a favourite place you like to go?
I do. There's a place here in Drogheda called the Drogheda Museum, Millmount.
Oh,
We've been investigating it for about 6 years, almost 7 years, and it is such an amazing place. You 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 think you could have a quiet night until you go through audio, and it's just non-stop, residual and intelligent.
wow.
Um, there is one man in there that doesn't like a lot of people. Me in particular. Me in particular.
But I
You
find that hard to believe, Jenny.
Me too. Me too. And he just, maybe because I just I don't know. Listen, I'm doing this many years and I'm still afraid. Like, I know people say when you're doing a paranormal you go in and you expect stuff. But I would still get afraid. I'm aware of stuff. I'm aware of what can happen.
Yeah,
And so I don't go in guns blazing. I go with respect.
yep.
And I remember somebody had said to me, someone had said to me, gosh, it was a good advice, but I forget it. It was good advice, but I forget. I'm trying to think now. Just don't fear, something like that. But it will come back to me. But yeah, Drogheda Museum Millmount is quite a fantastic location. Every location I've gone to is amazing. You get fantastic stuff in it.
I mean, I'm the exact same, Jenny. When I go in and explore, do you know what? I don't care if I don't get a thing out of it. See, knowing that I've been at that location and I've spent time in that location, that's enough for me. I'm as happy as a piggin, basically.
Yes,
Robbie
yeah,
says 37 years for me and always learning. I think you never ever stop learning
never.
in
Yeah,
paranormal. Sherry
there's
says she
always
never
something
stopped
new.
learning and she's been investigating since she was 18 and she's now 38. Robbie
Yeah,
has a question. What one location have you done that you would never go to again?
none. There's none. I'd go back to all of them. There's no, I'm trying to think there now, what location would I not go back to again? And I would be apprehensive of Shane's Castle. I would be apprehensive of Shane's Castle. But I would go back. I would do that. So I don't think there's any locations that I wouldn't go back to.
I mean, there's locations I've been to myself, and as you say, Jenny, there's so many locations that you do get your scary moments in.
Yes.
And you always get scared. See a paranormal investigator that says they aren't scared is telling you lies. Because there's always that one place that you
Yeah.
go to that you get the oh my god. I mean, the one for me was Lennox Castle, and it was one night. I mean, I love Lennox Castle. I could spend hours in Lennox Castle. It's brilliant, but it was just that one night where somebody, Robbie's in the comments, he was with me, and so was Scott. And it was that one night where you could hear it was like somebody screaming, and then it was getting closer, and it was getting closer, and I
No.
was like, oh. And do you know what? I've never sworn alive ever,
Did you?
and that was the one time that I actually dropped f bombs, and I was like, oh my god, oh, you know.
I've been
But
known to probably do it once or twice. I have, but it's I think it's natural if you do drop an F bomb. It's natural
uh-huh,
because you're in the field and
yeah.
you're on location. And if something happens, I'm not going to say, "Oh, sugars." I'm going to say something else.
do
Bloody hell,
you
I'm going to
do
say
you
something
know?
else.
I was doing an interview with Drew recently,
Aye.
and I forgot where I was, and I went, "Oh, it was shit," and they went, "Ah, she says I need to do the viewer's discretion." He's hitting the
Oh
viewer's
no! Oh, you see,
discretion.
that's what I have to learn. I have learned after all these. When I do my own shows and whatnot, I have this. I don't know where my sign is. I had a sign with all these like, numbers and letters on it. It's kind of like, "Don't drop the bomb, Jennifer. Don't drop the bomb."
Yep, don't drop the f bomb. Nikki says maybe because the
Ah,
spirit
Nikki.
knows your
Yeah, maybe
suits.
Nikki. Maybe they do. Maybe they do, Nikki.
Robbie says Lou goes wandering off. You need to tie rope to her. Do you know what? I get attracted. See if
You.
I'm basically like a compass. So if I sense something, I've got to, or I want to investigate something, I go wandering off. I'm like that
Mm.
person. See if you were on a tour, I would
Yes.
be the person at the far back that would disappear, reappear, disappear, reappear.
Would you go off on your own?
I'm quite notorious for it. I don't know why. I've just got it in me.
Girl, even I wouldn't
I've
do
got
that.
to. Oh, I just don't know what it is, Jenny. See if something catches my attention. I've got to go investigate. I can't just leave it alone. I'm
I'm known to get someone, even if I go to the bathroom, I'll have someone outside the door.
I would be
Oh,
like the girl that's not to touch the red button. Do not press. Well, Lou would be up at that, going, "Shall I press it? Shall I
oh my
not?"
God. I am no, listen, I just won't go anywhere on my own.
Oh
I won't go
wow!
anywhere on my own. And I know, I have done, but not often.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I know.
Lauren says there's always something new to learn. Always in the paranormal, you never
Yes.
stop learning. I've been going nearly 30 years and still learning. Exactly. We have got a question right now. Oops, my questions have disappeared. Greg wants to know, have you ever explored spirit energy in the desert?
No, no, not. And here in Ireland, we wouldn't have anything like that. Like, like the desert, we wouldn't have anything like a desert in Ireland.
I love
So,
Ireland and I love the Irish accent. That's why I'm letting you do most of the talking tonight, Jenny, so I can
no,
just sit and
don't.
listen. Sherry says,
Oh,
I get funny too. I've never challenged. I respect them. I never really have too many bad experiences. I've had a few, but I love what I do. If don't get evidence, I'm happy I've been part of an amazing place. That's all what it's about, Sherry, definitely. Sherwood Forest for me and an investigation. That was the night we took Scott. Um, I'm careful, but never ever scared of the location. But I am damaged goods.
oh my God.
That's my excuse, and I'll stick to it. Should there? I learned a while ago to be careful opening voice notes from Jen in front of young students. Jenny, are you being bad?
Well, no, we've had a few voicemails, that I would say at the
Super.
end. don't play this out loud. But I say it after the whole conversation first. So
It's allowed. You turn round to talk to her and she's gone. That's me.
hi,
Mary says hi. Pamela says hi. Jenny never swears. An Irish that doesn't swear.
Mary. Doing good.
Tracy says, "Oh, Jenny will go alone, not even to the toilet."
I have done. I have done. I
She,
have done a few times. I'm getting good.
Nicky. Oh, don't worry, you will see your true colours soon
I
enough.
do me a favor, Lois. Will you have a wee look at your PMs?
Yeah, honey, no problem.
Have a wee look at your PM.
Yeah. See, while I'm looking at my PM, is there anywhere in the world you would like to go to explore?
Wow. Yes. There is a few places actually. There's a lot of places. I would say America definitely being one of them. We have Scotland booked for last March to the Edinburgh Vaults, and we didn't get gone over. We ended up in the thank you. We ended up in the west of Ireland, but Edinburgh, St Mary's King's Close. That's one I want to go to.
Oh, do you know,
That's
I've never actually been and I stay in Scotland.
No, I listen. We must arrange for my team to get up with you and Tracy and anyone else in the UK and go to the Edinburgh Vaults and St Mary's King's Close and Greyfriars.
That would be a really good one. Hey, Rosie. Hey, Jacqueline.
Where's the other place I'd love to go to?
Oh,
We
I've
were
never.
supposed to go over to
Hi, Nigel. Thank you.
Romania.
Romania.
Oh,
Oh
thank
my
you.
God.
Romania. We had it booked for last year, I think, or the year before, and because of COVID and whatnot, we didn't make it over. Let me just do something here. We did not make it over, and we were going to the castle for the night. We are going to stay in the castle for the night. That did not happen. But I do want to go to Alcatraz. That is one place I
Oh,
want to go
wow.
to. I know we have prisons here in Ireland and they are phenomenal, but I do want to go to Alcatraz. I know.
Oh,
Oh,
that's a
Salem.
good one. Salem.
Salem. I want to go to
Oh,
Salem.
wow. I've
Yeah,
always said the Waverley Sanatorium.
that
That
would
for
be
me would be an
amazing.
absolute must.
I think at some point everyone needs to get together at one point and just say in the next 2 or 3 years. Hopefully now
Yeah,
it will stay there and
I'm hoping
we
so.
all get over.
Tracy, I've been, but not as an investigation because of hubby being Scottish. Chantel says, Jen, remember that little investigation you did in those woods? You were proper scared. You're so funny.
I do
Robbie
actually. I
says,
do.
can't do Greyfriars anymore. If caught, it's a 1K fine each person. Wow.
Really? Oh my
Chantel saying
gosh!
hi. Greg says, I've had a jerk off spirit follow me home from the desert and attack, but I love that climate and energy the most. I am looking forward to setting up a homestead and moving there. Whereabouts
Wow.
is that, Greg? But yeah, I mean, there's so many places, I'm so envious of America because they've got so many places over there. It would be like Christmas, a child at Christmas, you wouldn't know where to start.
You know what would be great to go as well? The catacombs in Paris.
Oh my God,
That's so
that would
like
be amazing.
I have a list of. I mean, it costs money. I know that, and you have to. That's my dog in the background snoring. Sorry. And
They're
you have
fine.
to contact the right people to get into these places. But it would be good to get into them, even if it's just a day tour. I would still
Oh,
do it.
definitely. Well, definitely. I mean, the catacombs it's just, you just think it and you're like, oh wow. And they always say about the catacombs and how deep the catacombs go.
Yeah,
Um,
I know. Did you ever see videos of it?
I've not seen videos. I've seen the film. I think that was is it as below, as above, so below. I would need to look for
Right.
it. and I'll send you it. But it's a really good film to watch. Hello, what's Robbie saying? If you visit
Oh,
Scotland, loan my
wow.
sympathy to Loudon Kirk. That played as 50 Shades of Creepy.
I'm coming over. I am coming over.
Sherry went. I went to Texas. It was awesome. Rosie wants to all trade places.
Places. Yay!
With pleasure. That was the Mojave Desert. I'm only a couple hours drive from there. Didn't investigate it, but I want to say very haunted and neglected hospital. I mean, I've Lennox Castle in Scotland. I don't know what you've got over in Ireland, what would be the equivalent, but we've got a one in Scotland. It's Lennox Castle, and it used to be for obviously mental illness and things like that.
Right.
It was basically for. I don't know what you have in
We
Ireland
do,
that would
yeah.
be equivalent.
Aye. There's a hotel. There was a hotel that myself and one of my team members went over to in March. It's called the Clayton Hotel, and it used to be a former asylum hospital.
Oh wow!
And so, when we got to the hotel, we got our rooms. You know, Aidan was in the one side, and I was on the other side across the hall. And it was very modernized, and we were on the end of the whole place, looking out at the road. So I rang up reception and I said, you know, we kind of traveled a long way. We kind of want to be in the center of the hotel. If you can arrange our rooms to be moved, would you do it? So they did. So myself and Aidan's room were next door to each other because I didn't want to be too far away. We ended up being a corridor and a half away from each other. My room was huge. Like it was too big that if I needed to get out of the room, it was going to take me about 5 minutes to get out of this bloody room. So we had a fantastic guy who used to work there, and he's a tour guy in Sligo. And he came and met with myself and Aidan and showed us the history of the hotel and so on. Apparently, my wing was the most active wing.
Oh wow! Trust you, Jenny, to get the most active one.
But it took me and Aidan, like, I looked at his room, he looked at my room, and I was like, his room was small, and I'm like, I like compact. But then I said, so my room was a big family room, and then you didn't open your door to go into the hallway. You opened my bedroom door to go into this family hallway with a chandelier
Wow.
before I could get to the door to go into the hall, the landing of the hotel. It was a little bit long. Hopi, my dog is snoring. So it was active. Did I sleep for the weekend? I did, but it was very broken sleep. Very, very broken sleep. I
Was
could
it
not.
noises that were keeping you awake, Jenny, or was it just the atmosphere?
It wasn't noisy at all. I liked to hear people, but
Ah,
it was, for me, once I knew what I was in my mind, I wasn't too comfortable. So I said to Aidan, if we go back over again and we get this family suite, he can stay in the children's bedroom. I can stay in the main area, and then that's the only way I'll probably sleep better. But it was
wow.
just, fabulous hotel. We did a spirit box and so on. Didn't get a lot from it, but we did it on the last day because I said, if you get something from my room, I'm not sleeping in it. I'll be sleeping on the floor of his room. Yes, I know. I'm doing it many years. I know, but it is what it is. I didn't. I know I'm such a scaredy cat when it comes to the paranormal, and I run a team.
Listen, there is many people I've been, as I said myself, if there's anybody out there that says they've not been scared once, is telling porky
Yeah.
pies.
Yes.
Telling.
Still
So,
scared.
Jenny, tell me, are
Hi.
you an old school kind of lady when it comes to paranormal, or do you prefer the much newer, like with all the
I
equipment and things?
I love old school. I love yourself as a piece of equipment. I will, anyone who knows me in the paranormal knows I love the digital recorder. I do audio, and I'll be doing audio tonight. I love audio. Audio. It's second to none for me. There is new things that I know Aidan and the team is trying out, like the pendulum. But for me, I like to document, evidence that I can present. The pendulum, it is a great piece to use. I just can't put it down to say it did this and it did that. I want to have video, I want to have pictures, or I want to have audio. I'm old school. Will I try new pieces of equipment? Absolutely, I would. Yeah, but I'm old school when it comes to documenting evidence. I like that more. Yeah.
Robbie says Lennox Castle South Tower looks like it's ready to collapse. The cap has got bigger. It actually
No,
has. And
really.
Robbie's offering to give you some tenner ladies, or you give him tenner ladies. Um, I take tenner ladies when I go to a location for the first time. He's some
I,
manual Robbie.
there is
But
there is a poster where adult no, not adult, but paranormal diapers. I would
I've
need.
never actually seen these. I'll need to
I think
invest.
it was a joke. It was a joke, like for a poster. But I'm looking like, where can I buy them in bulk, please?
Robbie, I love using Lose the Human Pendulum. I don't, I know it can get her in quick.
I'd like to know more about the human pendulum. I seen it done one night on a live, and
Uh-huh.
I had commented in saying, and me being me, I commented in saying, what's your documentation evidence from this? I'm that very anal person when it comes to evidence. I love to debunk,
Mm-hmm.
because not everything is paranormal. Not everything is paranormal.
Yep, totally agree with you there,
But
Jenny.
when you don't know something, and it's like you thought you knew something, it's like everyone's still learning in the paranormal field, no matter how long you're in it. It's like back to the drawing board,
Yep,
and back to like, well, I thought I knew this. Apparently, there's something new to add on to it, like the spirit box and the
yep,
recorders of what one can pick up and what the other doesn't pick up.
yep.
Or you have two or three recorders in one room, and one recorder will pick up something. Or you have a DVP and you have an EVP, which is the best. If you can get a DVP and an EVP of the same thing, that's for me is gold dust. It really is
Mm-hmm.
gold dust to get that. I love it.
Basically, what the human pendulum basically is, you've got, obviously, I would be in the middle, then you would
Aye,
have Robbie or somebody in front. So, say it was you, me, and Robbie, right? And I
aye.
would be in the middle, Robbie would be at the back, you'd be obviously in front of me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, I just stand there. And when I obviously did the first human and pendulum, like yourself, I was quite skeptic about it because I
Mm,
was thinking, does this actually work?
aye.
It can. You do get the debunkers that will come in and try and debunk it. But I think because I'm a person that can go into daydream, I just absolutely see if I'm quite easy to get into daydream, and I'll sit and daydream. Don't know why, but it just
Aye.
happens to be it. Plus, I'm doing development classes, so I find it
Wow.
easier. That's how, like, to relax more, and I get
Aye.
my wee world.
So you could go into a trance.
Uh-huh. Because I'm the sort of person you only need to show once how to do it, and I can do it. Sort of
You're
person. I
done.
don't know if it's because of my job and what I do, and I have to be on the ball.
Mm,
Um, so it's kind of like that. And do you know, it was one of the things that I asked in my development class, because I do development classes with Barry John. So first thing I asked him was about, well, how do you do trance, right? Because it's something that's, for me, it's an interesting thing how someone
mm.
can go under. So it's basically like I wanted to see, if you're doing the human pendulum, you're probably better having something so that the people that are the ones that try and debunk it and things like that, you're better
Mm.
off having music in your ears and some blindfold, which I got taught for another team
Aye.
as well about the human pendulum. The best way to do it is with, obviously, because then you can't hear the questions. So if something's swaying you, either forward or backwards for yes or no, you don't have a clue what's going on, if that
That
makes sense.
really does. Just when you said swaying, I remember being in Lep Castle, and a fantastic guy, Anthony Kerrigan from Ghost Era in here in Ireland, and
Hmm.
he was sitting at the long table in Lep Castle, and I'll be Kilt, if I can't remember the name of the room. But so he was doing a like a seance kind of thing. So we would close our eyes and we put our hands like, down on the table like that, and fingers touching. And he was calling out and doing his thing. And then I remembered feeling myself going like that. And I'm thinking, am I tired? But I was relaxed. I was very relaxed. And then when we were finished after, like, say, 15, 20 minutes, something like that, and I said, geez, I felt myself swaying left to right. I thought I was sitting still, but I thought I was swaying left to right. And the guys were telling me, you were swaying. No one was swaying. Anthony, who was sitting beside me, who was doing the calling out, was swaying. I was swaying. And I'm like thinking, like, yes, we're learning new things every day. And I'm thinking to myself, right, I need to now figure this out. Why was I swaying? I'm so old school that the new ways now of the stuff that I don't know, that I've been introduced into, I would never not do it. I would try it. There was a time that I was like, nope, audio, video, pictures, that's it. Nothing else is good enough. Now I'm open to a whole lot. That even the pendulum I find interesting. I find it very interesting. I know a friend of mine, Gillian Murphy, when we were in Charleville Castle, an amazing, amazing location. She did the pendulum, and Aidan was standing in the middle. So Gillian was asking the pendulum to show us where she is. So it swings towards her. And then Gillian started walking around, and you can see this pendulum. And if I wasn't there and I heard about it, I'd be like, okay. But this pendulum, when it was swinging and Gillian began to walk around, this pendulum, you could see it going with her.
Oh,
And
wow.
let me tell you, that was only a few months ago. And we weren't live, but there was a few choice words being said. What the bleep? And
I can
it was
imagine.
amazing. It was so amazing.
Hiya, Kelly.
I,
Robbie says he will DM about it, as if I tell people in here they won't try it
okay,
for themselves.
okay.
Um,
I'm brilliant, Robbie. Thank you.
right. Kelly's asking, when you record, do you have the recorder in your hand?
No, not all the time. Sometimes if I do have it, and I have a few here because I know I have to. Oh, there's three of them here actually, and I have to do work later. Sometimes if I'm holding it, I'll hold it out like that, and I won't have it near my body. I won't be breathing heavy into it. I'll have it out, and I'm very strict when it comes to recordings. I am a pain in the arse. I am so strict. Most of the time, I'll have it sitting down, and we are away from it. So I do sometimes, but I know like to keep it out of me, away from my breathing and any clothing that would make any noise. But I understand that too. If who was saying that? Oh, Kelly. That I would keep it on the ground sometimes. Yeah, you should never have it in your hand. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, because if you're moving your hands about, the microphone will pick up on it. Yeah, it's rare that I
Robbie
do that, but I
says,
do.
I'd put you into a semi-trance, then the spirit controls your muscles to move you back and forward, yes or no. And
Wow.
as Lou says, plug your ears, because that's the best way to do it. Sherry says it's like meditating. I do channeling and I can go out myself and go in myself. Rosie
That's
says Adam also
Adam.
the
Hi,
same.
Adam. I hope he's here. Um,
Sherry says I use pendulums and dowsing rods. I'm not too keen on the dowsing rods. I would love your opinion, Jenny, on dowsing rods. I find they don't work
hmm,
for me, but then again, this comes back down to some things work for better for people in
yes,
the paranormal and some things don't. I don't feel that I can work the dowsing rods no matter how I have them in my hands. Like, where's my camera? So I
yeah.
have them like in my hands like that. It doesn't
Hi.
matter how I hold them, they just won't move, but yet they'll
Was it
work for
not?
Robbie. No.
That's the thing that, like you said, it might work for some and it might not work for others. I was watching a show one night, and one of the guys said, if you're using the dowsing rods, instead of having them like pointing outwards and going cross, have them pointing downwards and have them turn up. And I've never tried it. I know Aidan on the team, he has them. We have never used them. And I think if you use the dowsing rods, you would have to know from what I think, you would have to know the location and you would have to know the answers. That the dowsing rods would have to be proof of the answers, you know. But if you don't
Ah,
know the location and you're using dowsing rods, you're taking answers from a dowsing rods that you might not know if the answer is right or not. So you'd have
ah,
to know a location. This is what I think. You'd have to know a location and any, say the stuff like the pendulum or the dowsing rods. That, like, say the audio would give you answers to location that you don't know, and then you can note it down and take up history from it and repetitively do that location time and time again. I think if you're using these pieces of equipment, the dowsing rods and the pendulum, I would think that you'd have to know the location and you would have to know the answers to make sure that the dowsing rods and the pendulum are giving you the right answer.
that would actually make sense, Jenny. Right, Robbie says, would love to do a past life regression on you. It would be very interesting. I totally agree.
Oh, God knows what you're going to get,
Kelly,
Robbie.
Kelly says she'd have never have that in your hand.
Aye.
Good that you put it down.
Yeah.
Robbie says Lou prefers tech. I prefer old school. I'm kind of in the middle about that one. Kelly's getting thingy. Yeah, I get amazing reactions of full energy, which helps. It does. It really does. Robbie says he'll give you a
I will do,
DM.
Robbie. Will do.
And asking, do you cleanse everything?
I don't. I don't. Maybe I should. I don't cleanse my audio. The only thing I do for my audio is like I wipe it out when I'm finished with it, when I've downloaded all my work. But that's it. I don't cleanse it, but maybe I should.
Which actually takes me on to my next question for you, Jenny.
Aye.
What's your thoughts on protection?
Okay. Have we done it? No. We've done it a few times on different teams that has joined us, and they do protection, so we would stand with them for protection. I would say we haven't done it, but I did say to one of the team members that we should start doing it. We should definitely start doing protection. 100%. Yeah, I would definitely look into it. Ground ourselves, protect ourselves. We always walk in with respect. We leave with respect, and we tell them, you must stay here, don't follow us, and so on. The longer you're in the field, the more I find that you do have to protect yourself.
I must admit, like, how many years have you been doing it? Sorry, Jenny. 21 years, right? We'll say 21, right? We'll go 21, right? So Jenny's been doing it 21, I've been doing it 4 years. And I feel like I'm quite naive when it comes to protection, because even though you know in the back of your head you're always going to get followed home. I mean, I don't know how many times that I've had something come home with me.
Did you?
Yeah, when we lived in a road, when before the house that we lived in, now, I went out one night and I brought something home, and it actually set off my house alarm. Bearing in mind that my partner lived in the house before me and it never ever went off. I move in, go out paranormal hunting, and something set it off, and I could sense that there was actually something watching him. Like, he's on the phone to the security people trying to get the code. Bearing in mind, he's never ever used this, so he doesn't know the code.
Yeah.
So they phoned the company up and say, look, my alarm's going off. How do you have the reset code? They gave him the reset code, and he actually typed it in 3 times, and when they go off, it continued.
Shut up.
No, seriously, right hand up to God, tell you no lies. And then he had to actually physically dismantle it. So I do think the more, like, obviously I'm reading and the more that I'm going out and learning. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't do the paranormal as much anymore because of reasons, but the more I'm learning, protection is an important thing.
Yeah.
Even though you think to yourself, it'll be fine. You always get friends home, and there's people that have come into my house like, oh, there's things here, and I've been like, well, they're my tenants. you
I
know?
know. And I think sometimes when people think if you protect yourself, that you're not going to get an active night. But you will still get an active night. You will still get it. You just have to ground yourself
Mhm.
and not allow anything to go home with you. And you must say at the end of each investigation, you are not allowed to follow me. You will stay here. We will be back, but you have no permission to follow me. And you have to stand your ground when you say that. And sometimes if my team don't do protection together, I would mentally do my own protection.
Yeah. Is your team made up of, I know like some teams are made up of people that are believers and, at least have one skeptic. Do you
I
have a team like that, or do you
both believers, both. There's only
both
two in
believe?
my team. I keep it small. We work
Mhm.
well. We work hard and we play hard. I had a few on my team that would just kind of like messing about and not taking it too seriously. So I don't. I have the patience of a bull to a red flag. So I am like, off you go, off you go, and so this I keep it small. I will be looking for other people, but they have to be. It's not a thrill seeking team. You better be dedicated
Do
and
you know you've actually got me in the mind, eh? Honestly, it's like the Ghostbusters film, and it's the four ladies, and they've got Kevin the receptionist. And do you
put
know
me
what?
in it.
I would be your receptionist. I would be Lois the
Would you?
receptionist.
No,
Yeah.
you be in the
Oh.
team. Aiden will be our receptionist. That like me for that.
I do know what I love that film. It's good. Kelly says if she does
Funny.
not couch no protection either, 100% you should do it
I
definitely.
should. I never thought of that.
And Tracy says, sorry back now, that's you. You're sacked because
Miss
you disappeared and left
Tracy.
us. So your team, I mean, have you how long like do yous go away anywhere like outside the island to investigate?
We haven't as of yet. I did with the team that I used to be on, but we are planning to like going over to Scotland this year or next year. Definitely going over to Scotland. I will be going over to the UK, over to Tracy in
Oh wow.
a few months' time. Tracy is coming up to Ireland in August to do Lep Castle with me. Tracy and her husband Ray. They're
Oh
coming over to
wow.
Ireland to do Lep Castle with me. They're going to stay with me for the weekend. I cannot wait for it. Um, but we haven't. Myself and Aidan hasn't yet as a team, but we will. We will. There's a lot to get done. There's a lot to get done in Ireland, but I do
I
want
mean,
to go abroad.
I can imagine. I mean, Ireland, as I say, it's one of those places that is a beautiful, beautiful country.
Fabulous.
What is it like around your area? With like,
My area is one of the most oldest towns in Ireland.
oh
One of
wow,
the most oldest towns in Ireland. You don't have to leave my town for about 2 years because there's places everywhere where I live. I'm in Drogheda in County Louth. So where the place that I investigate is where Oliver Cromwell had come over and uh, bombed and fought. And I have fantastic audio for that. Fantastic audio. I must send it on to you. Residual, but it's just like class A. It's perfect. Um, you have Newgrange beside me. You have Mellifont Abbey beside me. We have Ardgillan Castle. We have Malahide
oh
Castle,
wow.
about 20 minutes away from me. We have one of the most oldest graveyards in Ireland, not in Ireland, but in Drogheda beside me. Um, like I said, the Drogheda Museum Millmount is where Oliver Cromwell had came with 12 or 13,000 of his men, and Drogheda only had about 2,000. So we were like siege, you know. There's a place in Drogheda called Scarlet Crescent, and that's because of the
Wow.
hill and all the blood that had gone down that hill of the siege and so on. So the place is, you don't have to go far in Drogheda. You really don't. And I know Chantel was saying that she laughed one night when I was in a forest, which is about 10, 15 minutes away from me, where I go walking my dogs.
Uh-huh.
And myself and Aidan were out there one night a few weeks ago doing a live. You know, it was a spur of the moment kind of thing after a show that I had done. and it's just you'd want more than just two people with you to go out there. Maybe it's just because it's the forest and it's nighttime and it's in the dark, and you'd want more people with you. You will get sounds of outdoor sounds, animals and so on. Yes, Rosie, it's when we went in the car. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that I went running. And I keep saying to the team, don't run. Don't run. Run
Hmm.
towards, don't run from. I kind of ran from that night. And
Oh
alive.
wow.
We were on live. We were on a live and I was running. I bloody ran. I ran. And I could hear
Plus,
something. I heard something. And like I work with animals. So I know some outdoor animals, the noises they make. This was something I've never heard before that made me kind of lose my, I panicked a little bit.
uh-huh.
Panicked a little bit, and you'll see that on the live. I panicked a little bit.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I did actually. It was quite funny when we got into the car, but I was happy to leave that area. I
I
will
mean,
go.
you always find areas like that. I mean, when Jacqueline came to Scotland, I mean, Jacqueline couldn't believe how much I've actually got round about me. And she says you've got
Yeah.
so many castles in Scotland. And I think I read recently there's like 240 odd
What?
castles around Scotland.
You around you?
No, no, around me, just
Oh,
round in
around
Scotland
Scotland.
in
Oh my
general.
God, we
Yeah.
have to go to Scotland.
Oh,
We
Jenny,
have to go
do
to
do
Scotland.
you know people? I think I offend people when they turn around and say I'm sick of seeing castles. I want to see something
Oh
different.
no,
I want to explore, like old churches. Or Robbie says there's 430,
that's
sorry, castles
crazy,
in
man.
Scotland. I want to explore something different. Like I'm your sort of girl that wouldn't mind going into like an old church. I mean,
Yeah.
an old church that I've done the mental asylum. I've done a jail because
Oh.
I've been to a jail in Scotland called Stirling Jail.
Hmm.
So I would love to do something different when it comes to like maybe getting into an old church. I know, but the church's views are in paranormal and things like
Yeah,
that.
like
But
a house or something like that. A house,
yeah,
a
it would
factory,
be.
a building.
Yeah, it's just something different.
What you used to castles, castles. There was one weekend I was away, whatever, I think was it April, something like that. And we did four castles in one weekend.
Oh wow.
We stayed in Redwood Castle for the weekend. We went to visit Charleville Castle. So
Hmm.
the next day we went with Gillian. We went to visit Charleville Castle, Lep Castle, which we've been to many times, amazing place. One of my friends is from Canada, so she wanted to go see it.
Oh wow.
And then we had dinner in Kinnity Castle. So we had four castles, and then we did other excursions on that week and that day with
Hmm.
Gillian Murphy, a friend of ours. So we had three castles on one weekend, and like, what else would you be doing in Ireland on the weekend? Not getting ready to go out with the guys or the girls, No, we're going to castles. That's what Jenny does. Castles weekend.
You're like that. A weekend at the pub or a weekend at the
At the
castles.
castles. And that's what we did, was the castles. And now this Friday coming, we're going to Redwood Castle for the weekend.
Oh wow.
Fantastic location. Only myself and Aidan is going, so you'll hear a pin drop. I know two fantastic guys from the UK. Zach, hold on, my dog is looking for me. Um,
Oh.
they um, they came over to Redwood Castle for one night, and they went to Hellfire Club and so on. But when
Oh, is that near you, Jenny? Hellfire.
yeah, it's about 45 minutes away from me, 45 and 50 minutes away from me. I have
Oh
been.
wow.
I have been.
What was
And
what was your thoughts on it, Jenny? Was it a place you'd
it's
recommend?
I find it malevolent. I find it you get your spine leads on you. And when you walk, like Tracy is saying, her best piece, and Gillian would say her best piece of equipment is herself.
Yep,
And I
definitely.
said, yes, I like that. I do use my equipment, but I like that. When I walked into Hellfire Club, you get your spine leads. You really do get
Oh
your spine
wow.
leads. You do feel a little bit. I know, Hobie, dog snoring again. I know when one of like Aidan and a next team member where we were all up there together, and they had walked out of the Hellfire Club and walked a good bit distance away. I'm standing in the mirror. Oh, not in the mirror now. Gosh, mirror. I'm standing in the window and watching them walking away until they were dots. And I'm shouting at them saying, come back, come back. And then I turned around and realized, oh my God, I'm standing in Hellfire Club by
Oh,
myself.
oh
Now, I
wow.
don't go to the bathroom by myself, okay? I'm standing in Hellfire by myself. And I'm thinking, it's okay.
It's
It's
like
okay.
say my prayers. It's okay.
It was not okay. And I was like, it's okay. If I feel fearful, they're gonna know. But it was right. It was a man's club, so I'm a woman in a man's club, which was
Uh,
very very malevolent. And I'm thinking it's okay. And I'm looking at the window to see what kind of drop it is in case I have to jump over the bars.
oh
You know, because when I was there before a few weeks ago, and we've met up with a fantastic couple from Chicago, ACG Paranormal, Nat and Elliot,
oh wow.
and we did a session up there. It was great. It was great. The women stayed in the area where the man doesn't want women to be, and of course Jenny being big balls Jenny, calling out these questions, because I have people with me until they left me in this room by myself, and I'm thinking, sorry,
do
don't touch
do you
me.
know you find that though when you think about it, Jenny, when we get into these places, like as you say, there's some places that you go in where spirit will not talk to any females
Yeah.
because you think back in the day women were
Oh,
supposed
well,
to
you
be
see,
hearing, not seen.
yeah,
And you think, but there's other times like where women just love the males. It's just
yeah,
something about the male thing with it is it just it's wild.
I kind of got brave and called out questions by saying, well, you're not here anymore. And it was a man's only club. And I said, no, there's only women in this area. So you're not allowed in unless we invite you. So I'm being big balls Jenny by saying this stuff. Now we've changed this from a man's only club to a woman's only club. And you're not invited.
Oh wow.
I know I'm that person that is not supposed to ask these questions, but I'm the one that does.
Do you know
I'm
what
I've
that's
I've asked many questions that probably shouldn't have been asked.
I mean, I totally hear you, sister. There was this one time when I first ever went out, with my first ever team, and we went to this castle, and it's known for black magic. Well, it's known as the guy that was in his dark arts, and he
Aye.
had this daughter, and she went missing. She was never registered. You won't find her in any name roll or anything.
Hmm.
And he brought out this a piece of equipment I'd never ever seen before, but it's basically like it measures. It's almost to describe it like, say it was like one of the lie detector machines, right? It wasn't
Aye.
quite like that, but it had the same idea. So you can imagine this is
Oh,
flat. This is flatlining, and as soon as I mentioned the daughter, it went like that, as if I
really?
had gave it a fright because I'd
I
mentioned
want
the
that piece of
daughter.
equipment. I
I
want
would
that piece.
I would actually need to ask Alex where that was that night he used, but you could actually see it spiking because I had mentioned his daughter.
Can you
And
find out what that piece of equipment is?
I will do, Jenny. I'll
Would you?
message Alex and I'll
Aye, that
get
would be
back to you.
brilliant.
15 near Lou, two abbeys, and an unknown amount
Love.
of graveyards well into the hundreds. Rosie
Wow.
haunted tea party. I would love to have a haunted tea party. Robbie says something very relevant in
Wow.
Adrossan Castle, which is about a 10-minute drive from where Lou lives. You can't actually get into Adrossan Castle now because of a certain someone, but that I'll not disclose that one. And
Woman.
also people were trying a metal detector up there, and I think they
Aye.
found some stuff and they liked it with it, so I don't think they were too, but I use both and well. But
Mm.
yeah, you obviously you've had some experiences. Is there any experiences that you've had where it's been a very difficult one to debunk? Like no one
Yes.
could ever be debunk it.
Yeah. Well, Zach, hold on, go to bed. My God, I have five dogs, and one of them
You're
really wants
absolutely
to.
fine.
One is snoring, and one really is nudging my arm for attention. Sorry, Zach. Mom is going to come with you in a second, my love. Um, when I say when debunking would be, say, pictures or audio.
Hmm.
There was one piece of audio that I'm trying to debunk to this day, and I kind of want to, but I don't want to at the same time. It was in Lep Castle, and we were using the spirit box and the recorders, of course, and so on and so on. And there was, I was being called the B word. Can I say it?
Oh, go on, why not?
Bitch.
Viewers discretion advised, right? Well done, all
I asked permission first. I asked permission
uh,
first. So
that's fine.
I was called the B word. And, it's kind of like, no, another one, take a ticket and get in line with everyone else.
Yep.
And I was like, I feel very honored every time I'm called that. So, uh, and it was through the spirit box.
Hmm.
And then, so one of the guys said, can you call Jenny that word again? So when I was doing my audio, I heard on the audio was a man. So it coming from the recorder, but the end came from the spirit box. So the recorder was saying, hey, Jenny, you're a, and it stops there. And then the recorder, the spirit box says, finishes off my name calling. There is one particular one where my friend said to me, Jenny, it's your friend's anniversary coming up because she had passed away 6 years ago. And coming to that, it was the 28th of August, we were in Lep Castle, and her anniversary was in September. And I said I would never call out for my friend because I never have in any location ever, and I wouldn't do it. But I ended up doing it. For some reason, I ended up doing it. And the spirit box was going on, and I said, hey, Neve, when I go and visit you, what do I take with me? So when I go visit my friend's grave, I always take my two large dogs with me. We heard nothing on the spirit box, nothing came through. When I was at home
Oh,
doing the audio work, when I was picking something up off the floor and the question was coming up, and I said, hey, Neve, when I go visit you, what do I take with me? And you'll have this female coming through saying, dogs. And I
oh
looked,
wow.
and this is the one that I'm trying to debunk. This is the one I'm trying to say, is it you? Is it not? I've been waiting 6 years. It kind of made me stop me in my tracks to say, I love audio, and every piece of audio we get, I love it. Class A's, class B's, class C's, they all have a class of their own. This one almost made me give up investigations.
Oh
Almost,
wow, really,
yeah,
Jenny?
almost made me said, right, I'm out, I'm done, not doing it anymore. This was my end point because
Wow.
I've been waiting. And my reason why was because yes, I'm doing it many years, and yes, I've got amazing class A EVPs, and the experiments we do are phenomenal. And the class A EVPs I get, it's somebody to someone, and we're grateful for when they give you an intelligent response. It's like be grateful that you're just Jenny, and these are spirits that's saying I'm going to reply to Jenny. It's amazing. It's blessed. It's amazing that you can get that. This one was because it was a friend of mine that
I
I
can
got that, and
understand.
I'm like, oh, game over, because it was very, very personal. I don't listen to it. I listen to it now and again, but I don't listen to it as much, because I can't figure it out. I cannot figure it out. And
I
that's the
mean,
one that I'm trying to debunk, but I cannot figure that one out.
I mean,
Anything else?
classes. I mean, they are amazing. I
Yeah.
had never ever actually. Again, this comes back to when I first ever went out with the first team I ever went out with, and they got a class A, and oh my god, see when you listen to it. I mean, even talking about it right now is giving me
Really?
goosebumps. Because again, that same castle that same
I
castle where I was telling you about, where I'd obviously spiked this guy. No, actually spiked him, but you know what I mean. But it was like honestly that class A that they got, honestly, and I just had to keep listening to it because
Really?
I've had good responses, but a response like that is like it does it absolutely, it's just
Isn't
one
it
of the
just
moments.
mind blowing? It's mind blowing that we what we do in our field, what we do in paranormal in research, paranormal investigations,
Mhm.
that we do it obviously as a hobby, but what is the end result to what we want at the end? How much is enough? When are we going to be happy with what we get? And I
Exactly.
know a friend of mine said, I don't think we're ever going to be happy with what we get. And we get amazing stuff. You're being touched, your name is being said, you have a DVP and an EVP, and you have intelligent class A EVPs. When is enough enough? When are we going to be happy? Like we've seen,
Exactly.
we've seen, look, I'm sure some people have, I know I have seen a full apparition, a full solid apparition up in Shane's Castle. Is it enough for me? No, I want more. But how much more do I want? Like,
Exactly. I think we say to ourselves, investigators, well, we've been here, we've got this information,
mm,
right? The next location, we need to beat that first bit of evidence that we've got.
yeah,
It's almost as though we're trying to top the last evidence of what we just got
yeah.
before.
And they say one location is more active than the next location and so on. I think every location is as active as the next location and the last location. There's no one location that's more active than the rest.
Oh,
There really
definitely.
isn't. I don't believe in that.
The
Um,
police caught a group digging up the castle. Yeah, they were mine digging. I'm thinking again, mine digging. They were metal detecting, and I think they came across some stuff that was quite essential to the castle, and they legged it with
really,
it. Robbie, here
Robbie.
when we're talking about sensory, he's been called a baldy bee. I like the spelling. I'm
Bar
no even.
Stewart. Bar
I,
Stewart.
I'll let you carry on. Lucy, it came from the spirit box, but I'm sure it was her.
That was very funny. That spelling is brilliant.
Well, just can I say that you can't call them day baldy now because that's classed as sexual harassment.
Oh, I
It is.
heard about that. Oh my
Oh
Lord.
my
Like,
god, the world's
Jesus,
gone
take the
nuts.
wheel, Lord Jesus.
Hi Anita,
Hi,
how you
Anita.
doing, darling? But sexual harassment if you call him the baldy. Robbie will be absolutely
Really?
lap me up, but he'll be away annoying all the women, so they'll call him baldy. So he'll be like, oh,
I'm telling you, there's a new thing every day for something, and I just like
that's
bring
this
me
is why, right? This is why I kind of left the paranormal, right? Is
back.
because everything in today's society is so you can't say this because it's classed as this, or if you do say something, it's bullying. And I think the word
Oh, they need
bullying
to.
in the paranormals dropped too easily. They're all right to dish out
Yes.
the criticism. They're not
No.
willing to take criticism back.
Oh, I don't suffer fools. I do Jenny all the time, and if anyone
I
knows
I
me, I do
absolutely
Jenny.
freaking love you. I think
I
you're
do
brilliant.
Jenny. You can get on the Jenny train, or you can bloody get off the Jenny train, and I don't suffer these snowflakes. You can say that, Nick. Oh, stop. Too old. Stop. Too not. I'm not. No, I'm not too old. I'm not too old, but I'm old enough.
You're 21. We've told
20. I'm
everybody
20.
you're 21.
When
Uh,
you said to me, oh, what questions can I ask
Rob,
you tonight? And I said to you, anything but my age. Don't ask my age.
21, everybody. That's what we're sticking at. 21. We are
21.
forcibly challenged. Yep. Anita, I grew up in a haunted house. The
Wow.
paranormal is my comfort zone now. Do you know, actually, the saying, I'm actually tempted to get it tattooed on me, is that you fear the humans more than you fear the dead.
You fear the alive more than you would fear the dead.
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah,
I think it's something to that tune, but
yeah,
I
yeah. Fear the
and do
living, fear the living.
more than you feel the dead.
Yeah,
My granny used to tell me, there's nothing to fear but fear itself.
yeah. That's probably the advice that my friend said to me. I couldn't remember earlier. Like, what am I
Mhm.
afraid of? Well, I know maybe it's because I'm lucky enough to seen stuff, heard
Mhm.
stuff, DVPs, EVPs, like even in my own home. Um, uh, recorded stuff, EVPs. That, like I said, it's probably not enough.
It's definitely.
When do you hang up your equipment? When do you say enough is enough?
Anita says, "Hell yes, I fear the living more than the dead,
Yeah,
definitely." Do
yeah,
you think, Jenny, in years to come, knowing my generation, knowing your generation, but the generations further down the road, do you
aye,
think they will get the more, how's the word, and better technology? I'm not saying that we don't have better good technology, but
aye.
a better understanding of the paranormal.
I would honestly say no. That's what I would think. No, we've had geniuses from years ago, Einstein, to name a few, which I can't name a few, but I know of them in my head. You've had these geniuses. They were touching it, but could never get it. We are, and as Einstein said, whatever he had did then, that we were going to carry on his work. Did we get
Mhm.
any further than Einstein? No. And I think
No.
years further down the line, will they be any more better off than us today? No. And the only way we're going to find out is when we pass.
Do you
It
know,
sounds it
Jenny?
sounds blasé in someone, but that's the truth. That's what I think.
I,
Sorry.
do you know, Jenny? As I say, like with all shows, people. This is our opinions. This is what our
Aye.
thoughts and feelings are. And I'll never
Yes.
ever change my thoughts and feelings. When it comes to that, I'm a firm believer that what if there's nothing there but a parallel universe when you think it, and people laugh when I say this, but I'm actually being deadly serious. What happens if it's something like Stargate, right? You've got all the
Oh
other
my
worlds.
God. Where do you go through this
Uh
circle?
huh. And you go through the portal, get to the other side, and you're like, Jesus Christ, is this what I died for?
Could you imagine? Because I used to watch Stargate and I love Stargate. But if there is, and someone said to me, Jenny, what's your idea of heaven? And for me, or if there is a heaven or your energy afterlife and so on, me would be give me every dog I've ever owned. I work with rescue. I'm a dog groomer. Give me every dog I've owned. Give me my friends who've passed. Give me my family, my children, and so on. That's it. That's all we ever want. But give me my dogs. Just give me my bloody dogs and cats, okay? I want them. I want
They
them in
all,
it.
they always like there is always that person that will always be the crazy cat lady, but you're a cross between the crazy cat lady and the dog lady.
I
Well,
have
Robbie
five
has
of
a
each.
question for you. Do you have any objects that have came through from a haunted location? I've got some coal brought up from Titanic.
Well, now, Robbie, I'm gonna PM you and ask you how much do you want for it? I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with the Titanic.
You
Like
two must have been on the Titanic because Robbie
I
has as
am
well.
obsessed with the Titanic. I mean, wow. Could you cut it in half, Robbie, and give me half of it, please? You do that. I will definitely pay for it. Just give me half of it. Um, do I have any haunted objects? Um, I don't. I don't think I do. I have bought um old antique makeup sets. Like you can open up this little round cassette, round powder. You can smell the 70s and 80s from it. You know that powder, and the
Oh
powder is still
wow.
there,
Yeah.
and it has been used, and you can smell it. You can smell the oldness from it. It was like your grandmother smell kind of thing.
Oh wow.
Um, that's the only thing I have. I don't have
Uh,
anything else. I don't think.
Oh wow. Anita says, my goals involve studying static visual hauntings. I want to figure out what frequencies and atmospheric conditions are needed to stand in the
That's
light of the phenomenon and
awesome.
study it. Anita,
So cool.
Lewis, there's aspects of it are parallel dimensions. That's just my thoughts, that I
Nice.
do believe. I would really love to absolutely think that we could. Again, we're coming back to Stargate. This is my geeky side coming out, right? But I would love to think that we'd go through that, big door, and you come out the other side, and
God
it's the
knows
same
what.
as. Do you know what, Jenny? I love challenging like flat earthers and things like that, and not because I like the you, you might as well call me a troll in some senses. I'm not a troll. I'm just somebody that loves to question and challenge.
But that's not a troll. That's good. Question, question, question everything.
I, I just
That's
say to my,
brilliant.
I just say to myself, right. So you're arguing whether it's flat or whether the Earth is round. But what happens if it's a square or triangle and you've been kidded all these years?
Do you fricking say that? then you get the people thinking like, Jesus, is it? Is it?
See the first person that I see that says it's a triangle, I'll shake their hand personally.
It's a triangle. It's a triangle.
And yet it says, Jen, the dogs will be there. Heaven couldn't
Yeah.
be heaven without everything you've ever loved. I have had shared death experience with animals. They
Mm,
do cross them, will be there too. And
that's what
Robbie
I
says, Lou has seen my Titanic Otter. I have seen his
love.
Titanic Otter. It's
Really? Oh my gosh. I
That's
kind of,
why I believe you two are
Robbie, I'm going to have to
probably.
talk to you about the coal. I have to talk
he
to Robbie about
said
the coal. I
he
love it.
says not for sale. It's sentimental.
I know. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you. That's like, I'm so jealous. I really am. Can't believe you got that.
We are finishing in 15 minutes. If anyone has got any questions for the lovely Jenny,
Be
um,
nice.
be nice. She's a delicate wee flower for
Oh,
Ireland.
yeah. Many will say, no, she's not. But I am.
So,
Sometimes. Sometimes.
what's your thoughts in past life, Jenny? Do you believe in past
I do.
lives?
I really do. I do believe in past life. Yeah. A friend of mine, his cousin, young boy at the time, he would sit and have dinner with his family, and he'd say, "Oh, I used to love these sausages, but I don't like them anymore." Talking something like the way his granddad would talk, and oh my God, if I didn't see something, I would not have believed it. What happened? A collie that I used to own, a dog. This guy, my best friend, one of my best friends, my ex boyfriend, he would be he's an animal lover like me, and when we had broken up or stayed best friends, my collie loved him, and he lived beside the beach, and I lived in the town. So I said, "You can have my collie because I know he's an animal lover and
Oh,
on the beach." This dog hated this little boy. Like I have never seen and I work with animals, but I've never seen anything like this before. When I was in the house, one day, and so the collie was put into the conservatory, which is obviously attached to the house, and the glass door was there. This boy was in the kitchen. My dog was banging his teeth off the glass. You could see the
oh
spit on the
wow.
glass. He wanted this boy. He wanted this boy bad. And if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I would just hear the story and thinking like, oh, well, maybe he did something to the dog. This boy just stood in the kitchen. My dog wanted to make crap of him.
Oh wow.
The door was open. The sliding door was opened. The dog ran through everyone in the kitchen into the living room and bit him on the leg, in the back of his leg. Just bit him and drew blood. No idea why. He just wanted this boy. Don't know why. Um, One day he was leaving the home and he said to me, "Bye, Jenny. See you in heaven." And I'm like, "Well, I'm glad you said that and you didn't say hell. That's a little bit of reassurance." But when he said, "Bye, Jenny, see you in heaven," I was a little bit okay. oh, okay, because I knew his past of his stories about his granddad and so on, and it was just I do believe in it until they get to a certain age and then it leaves them.
Mhm.
But I do believe it does happen. But this dog, my dog, wanted to like make crap out of him.
Wow.
Really, he was not happy, too happy.
Robbie says, I'm sure Lou's had her comb in her hand. I probably have. Anita says, a lot of the glitch in the Matrix for a moment are stepping back in to see us as a rouse cut in a neighbouring dimension or overlapping time. You can experience forward in time too.
Aye,
I'm totally up for giving Jenny a
really?
past life investigation. Hiya, Sid.
I said,
But yeah, I mean, we look at past lives, and do you know, I never really knew what past lives were until obviously, I went with my first team, and
aye,
I kept getting deja vu with the guy that obviously owned the team, and I kept saying to him, I feel weird about that because I don't
really?
understand it.
Aye,
It was like I've like the first time he opened the door and I seen him and I'm like, I know his face. You know, it's that
no
automatically
way.
I know your face, but I don't know where. And then
Aye,
he explained to me what past lives were, and I read up on past lives, and it's amazing. And do you know, it actually gave me where I look in the street now, like no,
mm,
like a people watch, and you think to yourself, how many of these people do you actually know in a
I do a
past
lot of
life?
that. I do a lot of people watching. I know when I went to my brother's wedding in Cabra Castle. Yes, I know another castle, but I went to his wedding and it was in a castle, and I remember walking down the stairways, and it was like the round, the round tower, and I had a play in my head walking down. I always feel the walls of every location I go to. I just
Hmm.
have to feel the walls, and I don't know why. I feel walls. And so I'm walking down this round staircase thinking, oh, I have to go down for dinner again and I don't want to. So I'm imagining I'm in this dress, I have this big banquet table and so on. And yet it's my brother's wedding.
Oh wow.
I do it in every location that I have to feel the wall, feel the stone, or feel the wood, whatever. I have to mentally put myself into that era or that time where these people have lived. Do I think as I get older or I'm doing in the field longer that my I beginning, as I've been told, to be clairaudient, which sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. You know, sometimes I open it, sometimes I don't, sometimes I have no idea what I'm doing. But I'd be that person sitting down calling out, and I'd have about 10 names, 10 names. Is there a Kevin here? Is there a Michael, Patricia, Louise? And you'll get something. You will have said, yep, is it Louise here? And we did it in Redwood Castle, and we kind of we got a story made up of the people in Redwood Castle, which we're going to be in on Friday and Saturday night. We will be doing a live
Hmm.
from the castle on Friday night.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I can imagine. I mean the paranormal. It's just one of those ones we've all got our quirks,
Mm.
as you say. Yours is filling walls.
Mm.
Mine Mine is wandering. See if I get attracted to somewhere,
You
and I
just go,
mean, I've got to go. It's though someone's pushing me in that
calling you.
direction. Yeah,
Yeah,
you've got to go. We've all got our quirks in the paranormal. You know,
yeah.
as I always started this eventually. There's no right or wrong answers in the paranormal.
There
Everything
really
you do is
isn't.
trial is error. You know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When thankfully, I have learned as I'm in the field longer that I was that person when I started out. Well, this is what I've been taught, and this is the way it is. You're wrong and I'm right. I No, now it's kind of like open to everything, every piece of equipment you want to use within reason. Um, every idea, everybody has a certain feeling, and I'm like, right, let's go with it. And say if I have two, three people out with us one night, and somebody has never done an investigation before but said, I feel something. I'm like, right, let's go with it. I run a team for many years. You're a person that has been on an investigation for the first time ever, but you're feeling something, we're going to go with you and run with you. If you're comfortable enough to call out, then we'll do that, because they could have more gifts, if I can say that, than
Yeah,
you. And I'm all for it. If you can get me something, let's do it.
let's
Let's
go
do
for
it.
it.
Absolutely. I am looking for more people on my team. You don't have to live in Ireland, but if you want to travel over to Ireland, do so. I am looking for more people.
Here, Jenny, I'll call you.
Come over to Ireland.
Nah,
Join the team, girl.
right,
Join the team.
definitely. I've actually forgot to mention, we've talked how much paranormal. Jenny also runs, it's a podcast as well, don't you, Jenny? You do a
Aye,
podcast. You want to tell people about your podcast?
aye. It's like yeah. We call it now a vodcast because of the
Oh, podcast.
video. So it's Shadow Whispers in the Night vodcast that I run. Well, we are on Saturday night, and we can I say who I have on with us?
Yep, you can feel free,
Fantastic.
advertise yourself.
I will. Thank you. So it is Shadow Whispers in the Night. We are on Facebook. It will be shared around. We have Dr. Kieran O'Keefe on with us on Saturday night. He is a parapsychologist and he's a forensic psychologist. He
Oh
is
wow, I'll
mostly
need to
known.
watch it.
Oh, he's amazing. He was on the show before. I love him. He's more known as the parapsychologist on Most Haunted UK.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah, he's a fantastic guy. He really is. I love his work. I love the way he thinks, and he's very open to everybody's ideas, and there's no wrong answer. There's nothing. I just think he's great. Yeah. So we have him on Saturday night with
Oh
us.
wow. Well,
Yeah.
Jenny, if what to do is after the show, if you post a link to your podcast into the
Yep.
comments, everyone go and check Jenny out. She's absolutely brilliant. But yeah, I mean, a forensic psychologist. I'll nearly say psychiatrist,
You will
psychologist.
love that. Yeah.
I'll
Do it.
definitely. I will need to tune in for that one.
9:30 on Saturday night, 9:30 UK
9:30.
Ireland time, and I will have the poster done up later tonight with all the EST, CST times, GMT times.
Oh my God, how do you cope, Jen? I really seriously can't cope with different time zones. I've
Oh,
actually.
I have to. I have a clock on my phone that has each country or each, and I say, what part of America are you from? Let me get the time zone.
Mhm.
I
I
do
mean,
that. Yeah.
when me and Jacqueline did that Ted Bundy um talk with Rosie, that I mean that was, see the time zone in that, like Jacqueline says we're on at 9 o'clock, and the next thing you know, Jacqueline messages me says, Louise, we're now on 11. I'm at 11.
You
I'm
see,
at.
I did that
See,
before. Yeah.
I was like, okay. So I was like, yeah, that's fine, and it's getting used to it. And when me and Rosie are talking about doing shows together, I've got to say to her, she's actually my clock for right.
Yes,
What time is it
Rosie will
right now in
know
America?
all of the time zones. You can ask her and she'll know it. She'll know the time zones.
She's
I kind of go by
brilliant.
Rosie. She'll know it.
Pa- Pamela says, I
Pamela.
feel walls too, Jenny.
Yeah, I do.
Um, Sinclair says, good plan. Robbie, I'm self-taught, so I ain't got a clue what's
Yeah.
wrong or right. I only know what's right for me. That's it.
Oh,
Um,
TC is
just
universal.
post
Okay.
UCT. It's universal. Um,
Okay. I'm writing it down. I'm looking at him laughing at the end of it.
I know he's a cheeky devil. Right, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to love and leavies and wrap this up. Jenny, I can't begin to thank you for coming
No,
in
it's your
tonight, and
star.
I've know that you're a busy woman. But guys,
Always nice.
definitely, if you're not in this ladies group, get in our group, go and
Thank
watch our
you.
podcasts, definitely. Thank you everyone in the comments. Thank you for everybody
Thank
that's
you.
watched, and thank you for everybody that does watch. And you all have a
Hi.
lovely week, okay?
No, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you asking me on. Loved it. Love talking paranormal.
I
Oh,
love talking to you, Jenny. Come back anytime, you're welcome.
I will. I will. We'll have a whiskey or a Guinness. The Irish and
Definitely.
the Scottish.
The lucky Irish. Bye,
I
everyone.
tell you. Bye. Good night.
Bye, bye,
Good
bye,
morning.
bye.
Good afternoon.